the way that I was being treated was because of my identity. I'm Chemen Neal. I'm the Executive Associate Dean for Equity and Inclusion at the IU School of Medicine. When I was a junior faculty person, I was having just repetitive problems in the operating room with just people, which is not like me. There was a nurse who refused to call me doctor. She only called me by my first name, even though I asked not to. And I got written up for something that was completely ridiculous that no one else got written up for. I think I thought that I was supposed to have all this camaraderie. At first, when you're new, people kind of are trying to figure you out a little bit, and they want to make sure that you're competent. And once that little phase is over, then there is a lot of camaraderie, and I had that at another place, and also through my training, I had always had that. I never had problems with that. Really, instead of talking to anybody about it, I just ruminated on it and lived in the vacuum of my mind about making sense of what was happening around me or to me. I just felt like I didn't belong. I was gonna leave. I was gonna quit my job and go somewhere else because I just felt like I wasn't being successful. I told myself that whatever was happening to me here was probably gonna happen to me wherever I went if it was related to who I was and not things that I was doing. One of the leaders at the time said, you're having a lot of problems, and that just totally shut me down, and I thought, oh my gosh, it just confirmed everything that I was thinking in my mind, that I was doing something wrong, that I didn't fit in, I wasn't like everybody else. And so I just decided that I was gonna figure it out, and that when I figured it out, if I still wanted to leave, then I would allow myself to leave. I had a colleague who invited me to be part of the American Medical Women's Association. And I went to this talk, and it was a woman talking about her paper and these books about how women are treated in medicine and professionally, and also as a person of color. People of color also experience these same things. And I remember just sitting there like, this is happening to me because I'm a woman? And now that seems kind of ridiculous. Like, well, yeah, there's lots of stuff out there about how women are treated professionally. And for some reason, that just never occurred to me that the way that I was being treated was because of my identity. I remember having a 30-minute complimentary coaching conversation with someone at the American Medical Women's Association conference. And in 30 minutes, it completely changed the way I thought about myself. And I realized that I had been telling myself all of these stories about why people were acting the way that they were acting. And I learned how, in that 30 minutes, how important it is to just get out of your head and to talk to people about things. Because as I talked about it, I started to recognize that the way that I was thinking about the whole situation, like a lot of it was manufactured to some degree. It was a relief because it felt like something that was solvable instead of not fitting in. There's no solution for that. There's no remedy. Being able to talk to somebody about it and hear that other people had similar experiences made me realize that it wasn't necessarily anything that I was doing or not doing, and it all anchored on probably a couple of events that if I would have had the skills that I have today, I probably could have sorted out in short order. there's this bravado, or that you're supposed to be in control and that everything is okay for a team of people in really high stakes environments and situations. And I think that that's true in certain situations, but that little kernel of truth spreads out into so much more of our lives as physicians. And there's this message underneath that, that if you can't keep it together, that, you know, you're not fit or that you're not strong enough for other people. And academicians, that we have to be strong and we always have to have the answer, and not just the answer, but the right answer. And that if you're wrong, you don't belong, or that you don't fit, that you're weak in some way, or, you know, medicine is hard, you've got to be tough. And that, all of that is just not true. It's so much more valuable to be vulnerable, to need rejuvenation, to need a break, to say this is too much. Being able to say that and talk about it just hasn't been our culture. Because of all of those experiences that I've had and that I've seen other people have, that has become what my work has been about. Everything that I do is to really try to make our environment better for other people, and to make transitioning as a new person into academia, trying to be successful as a woman or a person of color or any other identity that is at the margin, is what I'm about. And I'm really passionate about people being cast aside or feeling like they're being cast aside. We think we're making sense to ourselves when we're talking to ourselves in our mind, but I've learned that that's often not true. And so when you hear your thoughts reflected back to you, either on a page or through the words of or the voice of another human, you're better able to make sense of what's happening to you, and you're better able to find a solution and to think of other possibilities. Don't exist in a vacuum. You have to reach out to people. You have to get your thoughts out of your head. If you live in a vacuum, your brain does very interesting things and makes up all kinds of stories. Often it's just making sense of what's happening around you, and there are always solutions.